Hey,
Yes.
fuck.
Are we starting with mine then? Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay.
Wow, this baby.
You
Right,
were by far
so
the most gung-ho about this. You were like, I'm going first, John, fuck you. Now you get to it, and you're like, can I go first?
Does anybody mind?
When
Right,
literally
so-
everyone was already like, yeah, I mean that's what's going to happen.
so this is a film that's been on the horizon for a while.
Boo.
Fuck
Oh,
off, John.
It was a horizon.
It's one that I saw when I was like really young and sort of piqued my interest in the sea and sharks and whales and stuff. And then I haven't watched it probably for about 7 or 8 years. Going into this, I thought, is it still going to hold up? But I feel like
Nope.
for a film that was made in what was it, 75?
yeah, something like that.
The effects in it are
Yeah.
probably better than a lot of films currently. So I was sort of quite happy to see that it's sort of still the same as I remembered. That's it.
Hard cut.
Wow.
I changed my name to No Boat Left.
I
You
can't
did
read
what?
this right now. Someone take it.
I changed my name to No Boat Left.
Only Dave's got a
Because
bigger one.
Well, seeing as no one's saying
Yeah.
anything, I'm just going to go straight to my notes and read out what I've got here.
Notes.
Oh, right.
Okay,
You got a
so
book and everything.
according to the chief of police's wife, being in a boat does not equal being in the water.
Well,
When you fucking know there's a shark in there, that's a really dumb thing to say. Because my opinion of this movie is that it's there's a hell of a lot of dumb people in this movie that make dumb choices. There are very few actual good decisions that are made. Second note I've got is
You know,
idiot fishers,
you know when
and then
you
quotation
know when they
marks.
yell
and say,
overboard. What do you think they mean?
wait,
what?
what?
Say again?
You know when they yell overboard? Someone's fallen in the water and someone goes overboard. Do you wonder why no one goes, hey, we're already in the water, mate?
I can't believe you interrupted me for that shit of a comment.
Oh.
So the second thing that I've got is idiot fishers, and then in quotation marks, go,
Mhm.
he's taking it. Which is when the two guys at night try and catch the shark, and then they literally just watch as the chain's going, and he's like, he's taking it, go, and they just fucking stand there doing nothing.
To be fair though, if you were trying to catch a shark in the wild and it like started to work, you would be a bit like taken aback.
No, I don't care, it's dumb. And then the last one I've got is that immediately after the Richard Dreyfuss gets into the water with the cage, and he's like, keep him away, keep him off me, like until I get lower. They didn't even try to keep the shark away from the cage for a single millisecond, and I feel like I have to wonder if there was a scene cut there or something, because they literally just kept on the shark and the cage for ages until he was already well out of the cage. The shark had practically destroyed the cage, and then they cut to him being like, pull him up, and it was just really dumb.
I mean, I think it'd be difficult to keep a 50-ton shark away from a cage.
That is not the point at all.
It was
50
distracting.
ton, yeah. what?
Yeah, give
That's a
him at least
massive
10
shark.
I can see
seconds.
why they'd have difficulty.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there was a
Yeah.
50-ton shark,
free.
I'd just be like, you know what? Nobody go in the water. We'll leave it.
I think to add on to what you just said, Joe, I think there were quite a lot of scene cuts throughout the film, but I
Yeah.
was just like, whatever. Some things just weren't important.
Yeah, clearly. Like a good story.
Like a title card.
Oh man, the curses.
What's that?
Is that you,
It's
Alec?
Alec for some reason.
Okay.
Oh,
Um,
muted.
I-
I don't know what.
Distortion.
You are
Yeah,
not
maybe it's
muted.
not
I would say that. Oh no, correct. Anyway, I would say that I feel like a lot of the behavior in the whole film was not out of place in the era it was in America, to be frankly honest. I know it's not it's like an island near America. Where is this kind
I
of
think it.
place?
I think
It's-
it's supposed to be an island in New York.
It's like off
Oh.
off New York, near Maine, right? Like
Yeah.
Okay,
northeast.
that makes a lot of sense. So to me, even though there were lots of dumb people, and I agree with you, John, it's also why it got like there are many reasons why I gave it a 5. Because it was neutral. I didn't like it, but I didn't dislike it either.
Mm.
But at the same time, I could imagine a lot of real people doing the same things, and I was just like,
I mean,
Mm.
yeah, so can I. But just because something's real doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean it's not bad. It was fucking boring.
It's not.
Sounds like Alex gone to the dentist.
Yeah, it's having
Very
a hygienist component.
No, there's a
Even
there's a
in
there's a
chat.
plane taking off.
No, that's me washing machine.
Oh, here we are blaming Alec, and it's you.
Alex not in the conversation, Rob.
Poor Alec.
oh man.
Alex gone.
Oh, is he?
Oh yeah, he is.
Oh, maybe he's got
Must be
his
sorting
issues.
out his power.
Yeah.
You're blaming Alec and he ain't even in the conversation.
No, that's classic right there.
It's
The
Alec.
best thing is that Pat's just sat next to his washing machine, like it can't be me.
I didn't even know what you're talking about because I couldn't hear you over the washing machine.
Why would you pick to have the washing machine on in the place that you're going to be talking at the time of the
I
call?
didn't turn it on.
Right, but surely you tell people what you're planning to do.
I mean,
It's not like we do this every week or anything. And it's not like this is not the first time this has happened where your washing machine's been on.
it's fine.
Well, all I know is washing machines with longer with cocoa.
Oh,
Finally,
copyright
after all
strike.
these weeks, we're going to be monetized.
Yeah.
Yeah. We finally got a sponsor.
That's
right.
Now I'm thrown off.
It's your fault.
Oh,
So, Rob, do you want to go through what your problems used to be and now how?
Yeah,
not.
no. So,
I'm just completely ignoring my problems. That's fine.
No, it's so reasonable. Please, John.
yeah,
Thank you,
no,
Dan.
when I was younger, I think part of the issue is that there was a lot of films kind of like in the 70s and 80s that were marketed as horror films that weren't necessarily, and like you can really see it with like The Exorcist, for example, because although it is a horror film, like literally all the marketing is, oh, this is the scariest film you're ever going to see, and like it's all centered around that. And it is similar with Jaws, like all of the marketing was around how it scared people out of going onto beaches and that kind of thing. So the first time I watched it, I was really underwhelmed because I was like expecting this super scary film, but I was just like, just don't go in the water. Like that's all you have to do to avoid this one. And I also didn't really believe that the mayor would act how he would when I was younger. But when I watched it again at uni, and when I studied it at uni, I was kind of like, okay, fair enough. So part of the issue is probably that I went in expecting like a super scary horror film, and it's not necessarily. I think it is a horror film, like because there's a bit of debate around that. I think it is one, but it's not necessarily one that has to be super scary. Whereas the marketing
I would say
kind
it's a
of
monster
suggested-
movie and not a horror movie, but continue.
No, monster movies are horror.
Yeah, it's a
but-
subgenre.
Oh yeah, but it's a subgenre of horror. but
Well,
but yeah, no, I think I think part of it was being a bit misled by the marketing, but the other part was, like I said, when I was younger, I didn't believe that a mayor would act like that. But then when I studied it at uni, it was kind of like, no, this is actually closer to what a mayor would act than sort of, if he was to be reasonable and say nobody goes on the beach. And then also as well, having lived through COVID, Yeah, it's basically what Boris Johnson did, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've got no issue with how the mayor
Yeah.
acted. To be fair, although I personally still have the problem of just don't go in the water.
But I think that is only really a problem
Mm.
for me because it was like, oh, this film's super scary and like it's the scariest. Well, it probably is the scariest shark film ever made. But then that's also like saying, well, this is, I don't know.
I imagine
The-
Sharknado is probably scarier than this. I'm just saying.
No.
All right, I mean you can keep talking. Like fucking hell.
Oh, I got to the end of my bit. I thought somebody would reply.
Oh, sorry. I thought I
Yeah.
didn't realize you were done. Yeah, like
I do.
I think that like I haven't seen any marking for it. I've only like heard bits and pieces over the years. So I also probably had different expectations to what I actually got, and I was just like, I mean, the shark's not that big. It's also not very scary. They're also being real idiots about how they're doing this. Like I understand that the sea captain guy, like the shark hunter, whatever the fuck his name was it Clint?
Which
Quint.
Clint? Which one's that?
Quint.
Is that the older guy?
Quint. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the guy who
Yeah.
delivered the bomb.
He's the
Hmm.
sharker.
Yeah.
Shark. That's
Like
called
I
the
get
shark.
I get that his obsession is that he wanted the shark to be his. Like he wanted the money and the fame of it, which is why he destroyed the radio. I get it. Still fucking stupid. All the stuff around
Yeah.
the boat and their maintenance of it and their attention to like not having it destroyed was real fucking dumb. Just in general, a lot of the shit, I'm just like, why are these people so dumb? I get that people are dumb like this in real life, but I don't watch movies to see the level of dumb that people are in real life. It should either be worse than that, or they should like be more reasonable. It's unless it's like an actual sort of like quote unquote realistic thing. I don't want to see people being the kind of dumb they are in real life because that's infuriating because we already have to deal with it every day.
I didn't really have a problem with any of that, like massively. Because I think, I don't know, like if you're sort of on a small island that doesn't generally deal with this kind of thing, and then suddenly you have to, you probably would be a bit incompetent. But the only thing that kind of made me raise an eyebrow was when they when they catch the first shark, and then Richard Dreyfuss is like, "Oh no, they've got a slow digestive system, so we should just cut it open and see if the kid's still in there." Because I was kind of like, that is a really gruesome thing to suggest, and everyone's just like, "No, we shouldn't do that." Like I'd be like, "What? Who are you?"
If
Wait,
that happens,
Hang on, that's the problem you had. I had the opposite problem. I was like, when he was like, "I'm not going to do that here," and have little Kitty Alex, whatever the fuck his name was, spill out onto the docks, and I was just like, right, that's why you take it behind closed doors and
Yeah.
dissect it, because then you can confirm that it is the shark. Like this guy's telling you that this shark is probably too small. Just go confirm it. Don't
Which
Oh
be
is
yeah,
an
the
what-
idiot
mayor
about
was
it.
what they did.
just didn't want to. That was the point. The mayor
Well-
was trying to just make excuses.
Well, that's the
It's
thing.
like
At
he's doing
first,
the
I
whole
felt like
time.
that. When he started saying no, I thought it was just the typical, I just want to continue with the 4th of July stuff. I don't want us losing money. But then he actually seemed genuine about not wanting the kid to spill out on the docks. So I was kind of like, okay, but
Oh yeah.
you can still do it behind closed doors and like not risk everyone's lives.
Yeah, he was. Don't get me wrong. He was genuine, but but for the reasons of if a kid really spills out, whether it's behind closed doors or not, I don't want that getting out.
mean,
Our income's
I
gonna
mean,
be
it's already
screwed.
dead. It's already dead. Like the shark killed it. You're just
Uh,
confirming. And in
that's
fact,
a-
you're getting the remains back for the mother to bury.
Ugh.
I think had they gone that far, then I think it would have been definitely a horror.
No, you don't have to show it. They didn't show the woman getting eaten, and then they didn't show her dismembered corpse. Like they were very careful about what they showed, and I
Oh,
think
does-
that worked fine.
They
I've
showed
got
a
a-
leg.
I've got a thing about that. So you know, on the beach they showed her arm.
Kinky. Yeah,
Well, originally it was just going to be a plastic arm, but Steven Spielberg was like, that just looks too fake. So they buried a woman in the sand and just had her arm come out.
and they haven't found her to this day.
Pat has no
Fucking
words.
hell, Pat, you need to lighten up a bit. But
That
yeah,
ma-
like you
that
said,
made it
Manny,
better.
they did have a leg thing, and it like the leg looked pretty real, to be fair.
Yeah, I think the problem you had, like one of the problems you had with it, John, the dumb people thing, is one of the reasons why when I was younger, if I did even see a tiny bit of this film, because I can't remember, I would have just turned it off after a little bit. I would have been like, Why? Why? But then I tend to do that anyway. Whenever I'm getting too annoyed about characters, I'm just like, F this, and I'll cut it off and do something else.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, like I can't fully explain how I feel about the dumbness thing, because yeah, like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But in this, I was constantly going, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you do that? Why are you acting so blasé? Why are you acting cocky? Like constantly questioning people's motives. Also, the fact that the mother of the kid that got eaten, up until the moment where she is dressed all in black with the veil mourning and then comes up and slaps the chief of police with a really weird slap as well. It was like she smacked him in the face with a like frozen chicken, the way it hit him. Up until that point, she didn't seem to give a shit about a kid dying. She seemed pretty like the acting going on there before that. She was like, oh, well, I'm just going to give money to people to get this shark. And then it's like, why are you so happy? Like, why are you quite sort of okay with what's happening right now? And then up until she's like, you knew, and my kid's dead because of you. It's like, all right.
I
It's
didn't
probably
think
just
she was bad.
directing, to be honest.
I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't be surprised if it was actually the character and she actually didn't care about her kid and it was just about getting publicity.
Maybe she did. She was going into all the papers, even out of state.
Yeah.
The guy had said, so she was making the rounds.
All over the country.
Yeah,
But
it's a great film.
There's actually a nice little thing about the woman who played her. So apparently a few years ago, so the
She
kid's
died in
name.
a shark attack.
Oh, John.
Sorry, carry on.
So the kid's name was Alex Kittner, right? And apparently.
Oh, I know this. Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently, like years and years after the film, she went into a restaurant, and there was something on the menu called the Alex Kittner sandwich. So she went up to the bar or whatever was in there, and she was like, oh, I played Alex Kittner's mum. And it turned out that the guy who owned the restaurant was the kid who played Alex Kittner, and they hadn't seen each other since the film until that day.
I remember you sharing that before. That's really cute. It's a shame nothing as emotional was in the actual movie, but I appreciate that.
This double bill has ruined it.
I mean, to be fair, look at my scores. I think I was pretty fair. Like for a movie I found pretty boring, had a lot of problems with, and disliked, I still gave it pretty decent scores.
The old 70s curse is back.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, the oldness part of it didn't bother me at all. Like apart from her, like the mother of the kid, the acting in it was decent. It was really good, to be honest, and I didn't have any problem with the acting style or the camera shots or anything. Like I particularly liked the camera shot on the police chief when they realize it's a shark and it comes into him like that.
Yeah,
I
that's
probably
one
should
of
have phrased that differently.
first time it's ever been done, that shot, actually.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
well,
Yeah.
it was a really good shot. I enjoyed that. I just the substance of the movie and the general flow of it didn't work for me personally.
That's one thing that I always really like with Steven Spielberg, because he has a bit of a signature of people taking their glasses off when something surprising happens. And it's like one of those things. It's like you don't do that in real life, but I do like it as a shot.
But now it's
You say that. Maybe I've been influenced by movies, but I'm pretty sure that I do that when I have glasses on. Also, Richard Dreyfuss, his glasses are the really annoying type of glasses that I've only ever seen in movies that you sort of pinch over your ears, like they're way too elasticy.
Yeah, whenever he does that, I always have the thought in the back of my mind of that looks so inconvenient.
Yeah.
every single time.
And also, can we talk about the lack of hygiene and care for other people's property when he's getting into the cage and he gives the police chief his glasses and he puts
Oh.
them in his mouth.
Yeah, I had an issue with that.
Disgusting.
Yeah,
Has there
there
been
were
a
lots
macro
Put
of
someone
It's
else's
insane.
glasses in your mouth. Also, do you realize how dirty and smelly the back of your ears get? You don't want to put that in your mouth.
Yeah, I did think about that.
Yeah.
Also, there was a moment where the other guy, when they had gloves on, he then had
He,
2 of the fingers of the gloves in his mouth.
in mouth, yeah.
Ugh.
That would have been so grimy. I mean, the actual gloves probably wouldn't have because it was on the film set, but
I don't even remember that part.
yeah, he
Yeah,
was.
Yeah, you're right.
He's put his face at the window and he's going like, blah, 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 and he goes,
Yeah,
Oh,
he was annoyed at Quint, and
He's
I
got them.
remember seeing that.
dirty black
Uh,
gloves. and-
I must not have been looking at that part because I was bored.
The whole sort of relationship between Hooper and Quint was something that sort of made me look into it. So apparently, when they were shooting the film, Richard Dreyfuss and Robert Shaw hated each other, so it made it easier to shoot those scenes the way they did.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
That's not
always wonder,
surprising.
like, I always wonder what the contract agreements were for it, because on the poster and like whenever you see, even in the film actually, and whenever you see like cinemas that were playing it at the time, Robert Shaw's name is always like slightly higher than Roy Scheider and Richard Dreyfuss.
Hmm.
I always wonder why.
Guess maybe it was bigger at the time.
It's also weird as well because like Shaw is in line with Roy and Richard, so you've got like Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, Richard Dreyfuss. But it reads like it says like Robert, Roy Shaw, Richard, Scheider, Dreyfuss.
Well, the funny thing about their names as well, like, is up until the end credits, whenever I thought about his name, I kept thinking it was Schneider. And I also hadn't figured out who was who yet because I don't know them by name. And I was like, God, this guy's really fucking annoying. Like, he really reminds me of Rob Schneider. And then I was like, oh wait, what if it's like his dad or something? But I was talking about Richard Dreyfuss anyway. So
Oh, 1 second.
I was just about to say you might want to turn your cam off, Rob.
Oh yeah, whose name was higher? Did he say?
Robert Shaw's.
Sure.
Oh, Quint. All right,
They've
cool.
already paid him a load of
Give me
money.
I
one
think
sec.
was this made before or after Russia with Love? Because he was in that one film, wasn't he, as the villain? That probably was the reason why he had to hire Billy.
Oh,
Wait,
let me
wait, is
check.
he? What's his name again?
Robert Shaw.
Robert Shaw.
Is he
So
who I
Russia
think he
with
is?
Love was
Then I like your
1963.
new hair. Your little
Yeah, that was
Did
10 years
you-
before.
Did you also know that Jaws was officially the first blockbuster film as
Mm.
well? Because what was it? I think it said 67 million people in America watched it when it released in cinemas, which gave it its blockbuster billing.
Oh, I know something interesting
Oh, man.
about how big a film it was. So apparently, Jaws 2 is the first film ever to have 2 in the title and not a Roman numeral.
Wow, really?
Oh wow!
It's
Yeah.
the first 2 movie.
And I imagine that also means that Jaws 3D is probably the first film to have 3D in the title.
Yeah, it's certainly not Piranha 3D.
Interesting. So they went for a stylistic choice like that
Oh man,
back
I'm
then.
so disappointed.
And
You're
what?
disappointed. You're disappointed. I'm disappointed. I thought something was happening with my fucking phone line. No, it was just Pat's fucking washing machine. I've been sitting on my sofa just waiting. It was Pat's washing machine this whole fucking time.
Yeah,
Yeah, he doesn't need cow
Zelda.
gun, so it's
Washing machine
happening.
stop now, so you're all right.
Well, anyway, back to what I was saying.
You missed John hating on Jaws.
Oh no, he won't. Don't worry.
I've got to check off the
Yeah, for some reason, like now that I've looked at the picture of him, he definitely looks nothing like him. But when you
Oh,
said
yeah.
about the guy being in
Sure with that.
a James Bond film, I was like, holy shit, did he play fucking Jaws in James Bond? That would be amazing. And then I looked up the picture and I was like, oh, no, he
It
actually
is,
doesn't look
yeah.
anything like him. But in my head at the time, I could see them side by side. And I was like, holy shit, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, no,
But
to be
no, there is
fair,
no redeeming qualities of this movie now.
as somebody who has like a fuzzy memory of what Jaws looks like, they do look alike in my memory as well.
Yeah, see? I was like, oh, fuck, that'd be awesome. He played Jaws and was in Jaws. And was in Jaws.
It's very drawing.
Oh man. But yeah, I thought otherwise. I thought it did pretty decent for the time and when they released it. And I was like, 1975, this
Yeah.
production is pretty good. Not
The,
bad at
the
all.
production's fantastic.
Didn't it have massive
Yeah.
problems?
Yeah,
like,
and the amount of
with
problems
the
they had.
shark.
Mm.
I mean, yeah, it was a big shark.
Well,
No,
initially they had to sack the first director because the first director thought it was a Moby Dick remake.
To be fair, you do get Moby
You're a
Dick
Moby
vibes
Dick.
It
from
is in a way, yeah.
like
The
you do get
singing.
Moby Dick vibes from many moments in it. Like it's clearly influenced it.
It's an influence, yeah, just not an exact literal.
Yeah,
I've just
it's
been,
not like an adaptation. It's just
Mm.
influenced by.
just been reading stuff in the background and something that you might like, John. So apparently when Steven Spielberg first read the novel, he found himself rooting for the shark because the humans are so unlikable.
Yeah. I believe it.
Don't
I felt
blame
quite
them.
bad for the shark.
I gotta
Yeah,
say,
the
like,
fact-
Actually,
Brody,
I did as well at one point. Actually, yeah.
I still
I
do.
just-
Brody does seem like a real asshole, just like writing again. Because like, there's a bit in like The Omen where like it's just after his wife falls down off a thing, and then he's like, "Oh, but she's pregnant," and the doctor goes, "No," and I was like, "You asshole!" And that's the same thing happened with this, where he was like, "Quint," and he went, and then Brody goes, "No," and I was like, "You asshole again!"
I'll say
Like,
I
that's the
didn't
first
actually
one,
feel like that
fucking
about that line. I felt like that was quite an
Mm.
appropriate response just because of everything they'd been through.
Yeah, they hated it. They not hated. They hated. They grew to dislike him more and more to the point at the end where they had a very big dislike hate for him. Like he smashed the radio. He wants to get home to his 2 kids and his wife, all still alive, thankfully. He's just like, I'm here because I'm the chief, not because I want to be on this freaking water. And now you just ruined our only way to get back up. You think I'm dying out here? You
And then
think
he
Yeah,
also
but
made the boat fucking sink.
You know, like
Yeah.
you know, if I
Oh.
just watched Humphrey got eaten by a shark, even I'd be like, "Oh man, that sucked." Like, you know.
No, but that's different. You were friends. They were never friends.
No, I
They
think Alec was trying to get at something
Oh.
Oh, you sounded so disappointed then, Emmanuel.
there.
Love
And
you,
so he
Humphrey.
should.
But yeah, the when he was like purposely like running the boat to its end, I didn't get why he was doing that, but I remember Hooper.
Wait,
and I was
when he was
thinking,
purposely rowing the boat where, sorry?
I said Rowan, it's like running the boat to its end. Like
Oh, right.
like he was getting like obviously Hooper is pissed, like, you're gonna wreck it. You're gonna like he's like, shut up. And it's just like,
I mean, to be fair,
dude,
as much as I
knock him-
dislike that scene and dislike what he's doing, I do understand character-wise why it happened. First of all,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
crazy, and second of all, he knows he needs to go faster or the shark will catch up. So it was a choice between like going as fast as possible and possibly burning out the engine, or going a bit slower and probably getting caught by the shark. Like, I get it. I still think he's dumb, and I don't like him. But yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. I was just saying it as a point for why,
Yeah.
another point to why Hooper like hated him. He's like, he's doing all these things he thinks is like dumb or bad decisions and not listening to him. And then they're in this mess.
Yeah. They also hated how early on they set up the fucking air canister as the thing that was clearly going to be exploded on the shark.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh,
No, you
careful, this
didn't.
thing's explosive. And then you watch it about 5 times, get knocked around, and they're like, oh, oh. And it's like, yeah, all right, I get it. It's going to explode.
To
Well,
be
hey,
honest,
Dune proved you wrong with that one because that's just because things are set up doesn't mean it's necessarily going to happen.
But it did.
You'll had
it was,
You'll had flammable written on it the whole time, and it didn't ever get flammable. Or something.
Wait, Alec, I'm not sure I'm hearing you properly. What are you talking about?
I said, just because something's set up doesn't mean it's necessarily going to happen. Like how Duel, you have like flammable written on it, and it keeps going flammable, and then it's just like it never gets flammablade. You know.
Okay, I mean, your point's dumb, but okay.
Your point's dumb.
No, my point actually clearly has evidence within this movie. Yours doesn't make any sense in the context of this movie.
Oh, you can't see.
I'm sure you're giving me the middle finger. That's fine.
No,
what I would say. Oh wait, say. Sorry, Rob.
Rob, mute yourself, you shithead.
Okay. Man. What was I gonna add? That was it. I thought it was going to explode, but not in the way it did. So I thought it was gonna blow like on the ship at some point and somehow lead to the shark being killed by the explosion or something or whatever in some kind of way. So the shark did get killed because of the explosion. I just didn't think it would explode in him in the way it did. But there you go. He missed most of his shots during the film, but he made one eventually.
I mean, yeah, but again, that's like the way they set it up. First of all, they kept talking about the fact that sharks will eat literally anything. So straight away, it's like, okay, so you're going to just put the thing in his mouth. And then they make a point of him missing all the shots prior to that, just so that he can have that one shot and say that really dumb line that now I know where it comes from. And apparently people love it for some reason.
Smile, you son of a bitch.
And it's like, hang on, this isn't your character. Like, this is completely out of character for you. I don't know why you're saying this.
Oh, I didn't actually remember that line. I forgot it already.
Yeah, that's how it should be, but it's been remembered for decades.
I just know the boat one.
What?
And I need a bigger boat.
Oh, that,
the first time he says it, it loses its impact. Obviously, I don't think they thought it was going to be as big as it was, but it loses its impact when he says it like three more times. It's like
It's not actually in the script.
We get the point. Oh, that was him ad-libbing.
Yeah, I think he sees it for the first time, doesn't he? And then while recording it, he says it, and they keep it in the film.
See,
Oh, that's
I think
good.
it's weird. Like, if it was intentional that he says it multiple times and it was in the script, I think that'd be fine. But ad-libbing and saying the same thing multiple times seems pretty fucking shitty.
Hey, I mean, if you're on a win, you know.
I think he was trying to go for the kind of angle of, no, this can't be happening. This can't be happening. This can't be happening. Kind of state of mind. So he just said it multiple times through like over like 10, 15 minutes of the film. I think he was trying to go for that, but
If that's what he was trying to go for, he did not act it appropriately. Because I just felt like he was genuinely going, no, that's really big. We should literally go back and get a bigger boat. Like, this is a terrible idea. And I was like, yes, you should.
No, I kind of like that moment, like the fact that he repeats himself. Like, I think that's very sort of like, we are actually going to go and get one, right? And they're like, no. And that's why he keeps asking it, like, guys, this has to happen, yeah? And it's, yeah, I thought it was a good moment. I can't see. I feel like I'm just going to imagine you all just kind of looking at each other, like just exchanging glances, just like, well,
Yep.
fuck it.
Oh, we're just pulling faces, making like hand animals and shit, like, you know.
Yeah.
I'm on the back foot with this. Yeah.
What was that?
I said I'm on such a back foot with it, in your face.
Yeah.
You lagged out a little bit there, and it sounded like you said, "I'm on such a back foot that I'm fucking hesitating."
Oh yeah,
Sitting and hating.
kind of goes hand in hand, or foot in foot if you want.
No, usually I'll just I'll decide a tangent has died just by looking at your faces, and I'll go like, you know what, that's fine. But I'll just keep going. I can't see anything.
Yeah. Sharks.
So yeah, shit movie. Let's move on.
Oh,
No.
I'm kidding. I'm
Oh.
kidding.
You got-
No, it's like, look, all hyperbole aside, it's not a shit movie. It's a very well made movie. The effects in it, even by today's standards, I think are fucking fantastic. As is the camera work. The acting is really good. I just really don't like the story personally. Like, I see what it is and I appreciate it. I just don't vibe with it.
it's a shame, really, because I think my favourite Jaws scene is actually in Jaws 4, because there's a bit where
There's
Michael
4 of
Caine.
them.
Oh, dude, Jaws 4 is a fucking classic. It's
No,
hilarious.
it's not. No, it's not.
But there's a bit where Michael Caine is on like this little dinghy boat kind of thing, and basically he's got the ump because there's a shark in the water and people won't get on his boat, even though that's a completely reasonable thing to do in this situation. But he's on the boat
So
and
he's
he's
playing me.
yeah, more or less actually. So he's on the boat and he's going, "You passengers are all the same. You're ungrateful." And then the shark comes out of the water and he goes, "Oh shit."
Well, there's only two things that I know about the Jaws sequels. One is that Michael Caine was asked if he's seen Jaws 4, and his response was, "Well, I saw the mansion it bought me."
Yeah.
So also like, yeah, cunt. And the only other thing I know, I don't know which one it is. Maybe it's Jaws 2 for all I know. But I've heard that one of the Jaws sequels is another shark wanting to get revenge on them for killing
Yeah.
Jaws in this movie.
That's
Yeah,
Jaws 3.
that's
Jaws
Jaws.
the Revenge.
Yeah, that's Jaws 4. Yeah.
Oh, is it Jaws 4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It follows
Wait.
him to the Caribbean.
What a shit plot point.
It's ridiculous.
Oh,
Sharks that literally live for like untold amounts of time. It's just like, oh, you killed my relative, probably. Fuck you.
The best thing though is there's a bit in it where somebody goes, "What if the shark wanted revenge?" And then an expert goes, "No, sharks don't take things personally." And then they just carry on with that plot point anyway.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love I love stuff like that in movies when they're clearly bad, because that's being so like so not self-aware that you literally called yourself out in the movie and not done anything about it.
the third one's really shit because it's that old 3D kind of, oh, we got a fad, so we're gonna follow it, and it's just so shit because there's bits of it that don't really make, like, was it there's like a bit where the shark comes towards the camera for 3D effect, and it just looks so fucking bad.
No, the best bit in Jaws 3D is the final scene. So they blow the shark up again, but so the shark blows up and all the blood sort of comes towards the camera, but then its teeth detached from its body come towards the camera, stop for a second so that you can see the teeth just like suspended in midair.
Yeah, I remember this.
And then they disappear.
Wait. Please tell me that this.
Proposed from it, isn't it? It's just like before CGI, they used to like an image of it on top of another bit of film, and they just like literally manually moved it forward. That's so good. It's so crazy.
Please tell me that it's the full set of teeth.
Yeah,
No,
it's like the
it's
jaw
actually it's like two separate like.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
just like, and this is Jaws.
Let me see if I can
This
find it.
sounds horrible.
Oh
Because, like,
yes, I've got it.
Right.
I
When
didn't even
I say it, I'll
realize there
see
was
if
a
it.
second one.
There's
Sorry.
4.
Yeah, for him.
Yeah,
You
but-
have to watch the war with him.
But I
No.
never heard of any but the first one until
Well,
Yeah, there's a
now.
reason for that.
Yeah, because all the sequels are shit.
The sequels are kind of like typical horror sequels.
Free Willy is actually a prequel to Jaws.
Yeah, this is what that's what the teeth
Yeah,
look
there you go.
like.
That's it. It's just literally-
Oh my
So shit.
goodness.
Because the reason I asked, because I was hoping it'd just be the fully formed thing, because long story short, in an anime I watched years ago, there was a like Sharkman thing, and you know how sharks can regrow their teeth.
Mm.
It was that, but to a ridiculous level. Like he would literally pull out the entire set, grow
Oh.
another set, and then pull it out, and then like use them to bite people with his hands.
Ugh.
So yeah, that's what that reminded me of.
Oh God.
Wait, bad
It's not.
people
It's
just-
not as. It's not as bad as it sounds. Like it's actually pretty like tame.
It's really weird though. Like this film has come out 46 years ago, and we still haven't had a shark that looks remotely as good as the one in that film.
I thought you was going to say Jaws 2.
No. Like
That's,
every shark now looks really fake. I mean,
yeah, because nobody wants to put the effort into the like practical effects. They just want to do CG shit.
Yeah,
yeah,
and they want to do crap CG.
Yeah,
This
if
is
they
a-
did good
this-
CG, it would look good.
This is actually a point I
also-
wanted. Never mind, sorry.
No, go on.
Oh no, I just think these days you should never skimp on CG. That's just a travesty.
If you're going to do it properly or not at all.
Exactly. Or do it in a way where it's not full frontal, so you can't really tell it's fake, or you know it's fake, but it doesn't matter that much because it's too far away or too kind of an angle to really matter. Because it's
Yeah,
just-
if you do full frontal, you have to change the age rating anyway.
I mean, like there are a couple of films where they look decent. Like Deep Blue Sea doesn't look too bad.
Yeah, I was going to say Deep Blue Sea looks all right, but the problem with Deep Blue Sea is it just doesn't move very well.
No, and the Meg, it's all right, but you can still tell it's super
The
fake.
what?
The Meg,
Oh,
it's the one with Jason Statham. in it.
yeah, no, I know. I thought you said the Megit, and I was like, what?
There's
I
um
forgot that film exists.
there's a
He
funny
needed
thing
money.
about the shark actually in Jaws. So when whoever was building it, apparently Steven Spielberg and George Lucas snuck into this warehouse where it was being built. And to be funny, George Lucas stuck his head in the mouth. And then also to be funny, Steven Spielberg tried to shut it on his head. And so so apparently like it was like animatronics or something. And
Did he
yeah,
break
so-
it?
well, this is the thing, right? So apparently he shut the shark's mouth on George Lucas's head. George Lucas got stuck inside the shark, and then they had to like pull him out. And then when they pulled him out, apparently they just sort of looked at each other like, "Oh fuck this," and they both ran away because they thought they'd broken it.
See, I thought you were going to say that they had to wait till morning because he got stuck and the mechanisms wouldn't move. So they had to wait for people to come back and be like, sorry guys, we were trying to play a prank and it didn't work out.
I just love the idea of Steven Spielberg like thinking he's broken his own shark and just being like, "No, I ain't responsible."
Yeah, like that, I do just love the idea that like they're like fucking who they are and they're like, oh shit, run.
The Pitman.
Wasn't there massive problems with the film as well? Like it went over.
Yeah, they had so many issues with like the weather and all the production costs and all that.
And
Yeah.
did the girl get hurt in the beginning when the shark's thrashing her about? Because
Oh, I imagine so.
I think how they did it was they had divers underneath her, and they were literally like throwing her about, and I'm sure she
Yeah.
got injured doing it.
I wouldn't be surprised when I saw that scene. I was looking at it like they didn't have a lot of technology back then to do this kind of stuff. Like she's moving quite violently. I feel like this might have caused a problem or two.
Man, yeah, that's true.
It's always the way with 70s films. Generally, either people got really hurt or there's accidents and shit.
I mean, even theater production sometimes, like to this day, the not the big ones anyway, but even some of the big ones, but sometimes it'd be like they really aren't looking out for the actors' kind of
Mm.
safety.
Yeah,
It's a real shame.
and they'll just be like, "Oh, you must suffer for your art," and it's like, "Or you could obey the health and safety laws, and we could all be happy and still get
Yeah.
a good show."
Yeah. This is why you need to pick Twilight Zone, Ben.
Yeah.
I'm glad you added Zone to that.
Well, I'm up for watching it. I've never seen them, I don't think.
They're not bad.
That'll be an event.
I would say the one, the only Twilight Zone I can remember that I also like would be the Last Man on Earth episode. I think you might like it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, to be
Yeah, it's a classic.
like, so wait, is there a Twilight Zone movie?
The Twilight Zone movie, kind of like the three of them were original stories. One was like a remake from the TV show.
Yeah, like
Okay.
it's
Kind
not
of like
a.
an anthology. if you
Yeah.
could say it.
It's
So it's just
not
like a condensation of things.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
basically
kind of like 4
condensing.
episodes back to back.
Yeah, that's
and
what
it,
I mean. Yeah.
And it was done by
Okay.
4 different directors as well.
Oh, so it would be just like The Mandalorian.
Would it?
Well,
Doesn't a different
Cool.
person do every episode?
Oh, right, like that. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. But they're kind of like not really linked, but at the same time, it's got like a bookend in the beginning of some characters in the end that they
Yeah.
sort of tie it all together.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But no, that film was the worst for things like that because I think it was John Landis who did it, wasn't it, Ben?
He did
Yeah.
the first part, which was what you were going
Yeah.
to say is just went
Yeah.
totally wrong.
Yeah, so there was a bit where there's like a helicopter scene and the helicopter is kind of like coming down towards Earth, I suppose, which feels weird to say about a helicopter because it left from Earth, but yeah, it's sort of coming down towards the floor, and apparently John Landis insisted on doing this shot sort of like late at night and when there was like loads of rain pouring down on it and that kind of thing, and apparently it was like so late that he had to break child labor laws to do it. And so the kid that wasn't even supposed to be on set when this was happening, basically the helicopter got too close to him and it decapitated him.
Sorry, I wasn't fully listening there. What was that last part?
Are you serious?
Yeah, there was
Yeah, seriously, yeah. So yeah, basically John Landis, to get the scene that he wanted, he broke child labor laws and then eventually accidentally decapitated the kid who wasn't supposed to be on set in the first place.
you know,
Wow.
No, that's so sad.
and that what cursed the production really, and it just like the film flopped and it just had bad word of mouth, even though it's a good film. It just like everyone was just like no.
Which film
So
was that?
wait,
The Twilight,
Twilight
Zone
Zone movie.
Oh man.
so what happened after that to John Landis?
That's all quickly.
Yeah, nothing happened to him. He's still directing films now.
Yeah, it was this before American Werewolf or
I think it might have been just after.
right.
Wait a second. So when was the Twilight Zone movie made?
In the 80s, I think.
84, I think.
83. I've just found it.
Right.
Okay, that's all right then, because although I didn't particularly appreciate it, I'd have been quite upset if you and Alec loved the Blues Brothers if that happened after that, but it didn't, so it's fine.
Yeah, he still was a great director before that, and then it just went downhill.
He also directed Burke and Hare.
Oh yeah, that's true. Good film though. Not
Completely side note, but the Twilight conversation reminded me of the movie where the main character in the end ends up in the mirror world, the mirror Earth, alternate reality.
I
sounds
think
like
I
one
remember that one.
Sounds like one of the episodes, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. Back to Thor.
So apparently John Landis also did a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids TV show,
Oh, really? That's in bad
Yeah.
taste. That's in very bad taste.
and it was definitely after.
Honey,
Uh,
decapitated the kids.
Oh no, he's also an executive producer on on something called We Hate Kids.
Oh,
For fuck's sake.
And then just
Oh my
well,
goodness.
actually, no, this is terrible. If you look at all the movies he's done recently, Some Guy Who Kills People,
Oh man, really?
The Last Kill, We Hate Kids, and Superhero Kindergarten.
Jesus Christ, man. He might as well do one that's called I Did It on Purpose.
You know
Right,
what?
this is basically OJ releasing his book.
Yes, man.
You know what's worse, guys? Do you know who his son is?
No.
No,
Max Landis is he was like accused of adultery and rape.
Oh Jesus.
and yeah, he was the guy who
Oh,
wrote
no.
like Chronicle. He was started off as a good, promising writer,
Oh,
but
yeah.
he got like tainted in the industry because of his his
Oh,
sexual inconduct. Like
Oh, man.
Oh, he also did Dirk Gently.
Yeah,
Did he really?
Yeah, he did, and
Wow.
he's been blacklisted from Hollywood now. And his dad's
Well, I want you to
Wow.
know that the first result when I searched his name was, "Why is Max Landis bad?" And let's see what it says. Controversy. Dot. Landis has been criticized for statements he has made about women and has been accused of abuse and sexual misconduct by several women and industry figures. So yeah, what Ben said.
He's the name is kind of cursed in a way. Landis.
Yeah, clearly. One's a kitty killer and the other one, well, we don't talk about that here.
That's favorite word.
Yeah. That's annoying because like Chronicle I've debated picking for this a few times. I don't actually like it, but it's a really interesting movie. Like I think it's quite unique.
Yeah, it's
I really liked it. I remember watching it. You hated it.
No, I was going to say hated it, but that's not fair. I didn't hate it. I think it just wasn't what I was expecting, and I don't know, the way they went about the story was a little bit weird. But you know, at some point, I'm sure one of us will pick it.
That's basically how I feel about every single found footage film that I've ever seen. Every time I watch one, I'm like, that's not what I expected.
to be fair, there's not a lot of found footage in that movie.
Oh, is there not?
Like there's definitely some, but it's not like Cloverfield where the whole thing is it. There's a lot of normal shots.
A couple of shots where they just had the camera in the POV and then the rest is normal.
No, I always thought it was like pure found footage.
No.
no.
There's some at the. It's basically like just for key moments.
Yeah. Also, there's moments where they use their powers in a way.
Spoilers.
I was okay, whatever for the found footage. But I was just saying it like that. But anyway, what was I gonna say? I think at the time I thought it was pretty decent for what it was. It kind of reminded me of other things going on at that time and kind of superhero stuff. And I thought, you know what, that was all right. And I kind of like how it ended, even though kind of. Anyway, I won't say anything.
No, I get what you mean though. Like to be honest, the ending I was annoyed at first, but then I kind of appreciated it as well. Like I won't be specific, but yeah. Sorry, Pat, you went and we started talking about other movies.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Jaws though. So on my scores, I deliberately marked it down on impact a little bit. and the reason that I did that is because I read that apparently the author of what the fuck is going on over there?
Sorry, I was playing with her and she jumped up at me.
Yeah, no, I read that the author of the novel apparently regretted writing it, and it was just because of the way that people saw sharks after it, and like people were sort of scared to get in the sea and that kind of thing. Apparently he really regretted his kind of involvement in that, to the point that he spent the rest of his life as like an ocean activist to try and restore the reputation of sharks.
Yeah, to be fair, I get that because like the when you look at how many shark attacks there actually are a year and how many people actually die from sharks, and then look at how many people kill sharks because of the fear of them.
That's exactly it. So, that's exactly what he said that he regretted. He said that he thought that Jaws gave people a legitimate interest to go and kill sharks for their own ends.
Yeah, like
even though there was
bad
no.
enough.
Yeah.
It's bad enough that like the Japanese fucking kill a ridiculous amount of them for their own purposes, let alone people who just go there because of a movie.
Yeah.
And actors.
Like it's a shame because like I get. Hang on, sorry. I get it because like you know sharks are literally killing machines, but they also just don't have much interest in us.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much would have been known scientifically about sharks in the common public at this point. so I didn't really. Because I don't know how much was known, so I was just like, okay, I'm just not gonna really say anything because they they might not have like known much or the general public at the time
Hmm.
compared to maybe 20 years later. Like the whole fact, like that the only one in the film who would have been attacked would have been the kid who was on the yellow floater thing because
Hmm.
he would have actually looked like a seal
Yeah.
to a shark with
Mm.
terrible eyesight, which is why
Yeah.
there's quite a lot of attacks that happen that are surfers or
Yeah.
people on boards.
Yeah.
'Cause they're basically splashing their arms in the water to move on.
Yeah,
But
and they look like seals.
it's really funny, like the fact as you said about like the films kind of made them like the enemy and then made them bad. But I've kind of what Pat said at the beginning. I really love great white sharks because of this film.
Mhm.
I just think they're really cool, and I'd love to actually swim with them at some point in my life, whenever that
In
may
the
be.
cage.
Yeah, in the cage, because I
Yeah.
think they're just they're amazing.
I have-
Lovely.
I have
I really
similar
like
feelings
that.
about them. Like I'd like to do both a cage thing, but also like just do a normal swim if possible.
Oof.
Yeah,
And
so
they-
there's no risk of being eaten.
Oh,
To be
I'm
fair,
afraid.
we get little sharks down here if you want to have a swim, John.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, but they're not quite great white sharks, are
They're
they?
not great
Yeah, but you got to
whites,
start
no,
small.
You got to break it in, right?
Yeah,
Your shark
Just
swim.
don't just lose a pinky, then lose a leg.
Let me see what kind of sharks we get.
They're not going to be like tiger sharks because
No.
they're powerful.
Well, you say that, but the first result that I've got is a BBC News article saying killer tiger shark of Brighton Beach.
It's actually funny you say that because while I was watching this whole movie, I was like, I can just imagine this being Brighton, but they'd all react very differently and just like not go in the same.
Oh, dude, we'd have a demonstration within hours of people going, "Save our shark!"
Yeah. Like everyone would be coming in from out of town, and everyone would just be like, "No, leave our shark alone."
I think one of the best bits in the film is the bit when they're all trying to get in their boats to fish to try and catch it, and it just
And the guy
shows you
comes
how
with the
stupid-
dynamite.
Yeah, it just shows you how stupid the fucking people are. Like the blokes with the
Yeah.
dynamite and he's throwing it in the water. It's like
Yeah, and he's just like, no, let's not do that.
it's the fact that the bloke's like, "Why you got dynamite?" And I didn't realise when I watched it originally, but when you see it, he's got like proper big sticks.
Yeah,
On the 3-piece.
yeah, he's got 3 banded together, and they're fucking huge.
I'm like,
Yeah, I was thinking
Like-
when.
Oh, sorry, go on.
Oh no, I was just thinking when he had that, I was just like, is his hand gonna blow off? Dynamite is very unstable. I did not trust whatever dynamite that guy had.
Yeah,
like
but it was
the-
probably homemade, and like the fact is that I feel like unless you're going at a really, really high speeds, you probably wouldn't get away fast enough
Nope.
that the explosion wouldn't affect you.
Because like when he says to the blokes about them being in the boat and they're like, "You're gonna die." They're totally gonna die. Like,
I do love that there's like 8 guys trying to get in the boat, and he's like, "Oh, sort them out," and then he's like, "Yeah, they're not gonna get back alive."
oh, so we've
Yeah.
not talked about the classic jump scare, like the
Oh,
Oh yeah, that's great.
you know what?
What
knew
got
it
me
was
again
coming.
as well.
Yeah.
yeah, I
You
always
know
get-
Which
it's
one? The
really-
one underwater?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the head.
Sorry, that's really broad. The one where the guy, like the head appears.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a classic
Oh,
moment, right?
I like that. I was
That
like,
gets me every time, man.
Oh.
Every
The
time I
thing
watch
is, it's-
Jaws, I'm like, "Ugh."
It's good because they haven't really used any jump scares. Like obviously they have the shark jump out occasionally, but they're not really jump scares. It's more just like for the tension, like building and everything. But why are you laughing?
No, just because I was thinking about like there's a story about how that ended up in the film, and it was basically just that Steven Spielberg was like, I'd really love a jump scare, and people kind of ignored him, and he was like, no, I think we should have a jump scare, and it got to the point where he just went and found this head, and he was like, let's do a jump scare.
Yeah, I mean, it works. Like it didn't
Mm,
get me, but I still appreciated it.
Yeah, I really like that jump
Yeah.
scare.
Which I can't say for most jump scares. Most jump scares, either they get me and I'm like, I'm not scared. You just like surprised me. There's a big difference, and people need to understand that. Or I'm like, they didn't get me and it was dumb. Fuck you.
I mean, you guys all know that I'm like really bad with horrors, but yeah, the jump scare. So I was watching it in the dark in the front room, and the jump scare happened, and I was like, ugh, and then I was like, I'm gonna turn the light on, and then I had to have a word with myself, and I was like, this is fucking Jaws. You don't need the light on.
Did you turn the light on for The Exorcist?
I did, yeah, I watched it start to finish with the light on.
No, you pussy.
3 in the afternoon.
I watched The Omen with the light on as well.
Oh, for God's sake. Neither of those were scary.
The Omen was more scary, but not very.
Yeah, but still not.
They both give me the willies.
It's funny because like I'm also like a wuss when it comes to horror movies, but like neither of those even moderately scared me.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Actually, I'm curious. No,
That sounded so sarcastic.
Wow,
That's so interesting. Moving on.
That's not a dick.
what about A Tale of Two Sisters?
Yeah,
Oh,
I had to stop watching that. But it was literally just the atmosphere of it was too much for me. I started watching it at night. I got like 5 minutes in, and I was like, nope. And then I started watching it the next morning.
Like, I guess the thing
Oh,
is that
that's great.
I say I'm bad with horror movies, but I think I'm mostly just bad with jump scares because they annoy me. Like The Tale of Two Sisters, the tension building, everything was great. Like I love the atmospheric stuff, like because that's why I really like The Conjuring. It's one of the only horror movies I've seen where I'm like, I think there was definitely a couple of jump scares in there, but they were used appropriately, and most of the stuff was like just building on building on building, and that I really like because I'm then sitting there going, oh, it's gonna happen.
That's the thing. I have to pause the film, like the Tale of Two Sisters. It's the bit where she's walking. You know, when she's in the bed and the ghost is walking towards her. I was just like, nope. No,
And you were just like,
no,
it's gonna happen. It's
gonna
gonna happen.
And I paused it. I'm like, I paused it. I looked around. I was like, no, this is not happening. And then I played it. And I'm like,
I think
Uh,
the only horror film that we've done for Film Club that hasn't scared me is Antichrist. And I think the only reason Antichrist didn't scare me was because the fox spoke. As soon as the fox spoke, I was like,
Yeah,
I'm fine.
done.
Like, I don't want to be nitpicky, but is Antichrist a horror?
no.
I think, yeah.
I think it's a thriller.
I don't know
I'd call
what
it
it
a
is.
horror. I'd call
Yeah,
it
it's
a
just a
horror,
messed
but
up
it's-
film.
It's horrific.
Yeah,
It's
I wouldn't call it a horror at all.
It's horrible.
It's pretty
Yeah, it's
horrific.
horrible.
it's an art
Even-
house. movie.
even bloody Reanimator scared me.
Was it the cat?
No, I think maybe I just get a bit scared when people are.
No, it's the head. It's the head.
Oh,
So,
Rob's
before
a little
we-
snowflake.
Before we move on to the second film, what was your favourite parts?
The leg.
Nah.
Excellent.
Favorite
I'll
part.
have to think about it, so come back to me.
There's a lot of bits in the film that are great. Oh,
And so,
It's really difficult
Hmm.
to say. I think.
I
hmm.
really liked it when the sailor guy dies because he very much deserved it.
yeah. Okay, my favorite part is just
Yeah.
it's just after that. It's basically when they're swimming back. Yes, please. Swimming back, the two of them on the broken raft, which I think does it still have part of the shot connected to it? I don't know.
I don't think so. No.
No, it's just the barrels.
Yeah, it's the two barrels
Okay.
on a bit of wood.
It'd be nice if they could bring part of it back or whatever. But yeah, that's my favorite part. I was like, he's gonna be able to get back home to his kids. And even if the raft breaks, the guy's got scuba gear and stuff, so he can just swim him
I mean,
back.
they got the barrels, worst case.
Yeah. It's like I was thinking, how is this guy who probably can't swim, gonna get home when he hates water. He has a phobia of big bodies of water. Like that's freaking terrifying.
The-
But it could be worse.
I was
So,
gonna,
like,
to be
yeah.
honest, he's just had the trauma of a shark trying to kill him. I think you'd be at a level where you'd think, fuck it, I'm just gonna swim. I just want to get home. I've had enough of this. Just fucking get me out of here.
Yeah, I think he was at that level at the end. I think that was pretty much it. He was like, "Oh yeah, why would you be afraid of water?" Just like, yeah, I've survived the shark trying to freaking eat me. You know what? I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be
I will
okay.
say, I expected something to come of him being afraid of the water. Like when they were exchanging scars and stuff, he slightly lifted up his top at one point, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, is he going to reveal that he's got like a shark wound, like scar or something?" And then they never did.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel
apparently
like
the
that.
original. Sorry, man.
No, go Rob.
I was just going to say that apparently the original idea for Jaws 2 was to be a prequel about that, but they didn't do it in the end.
Oh.
That's why you shouldn't set things up in one movie for another. Like, don't do that.
One thing, the only thing about the water, he was motion sick. I
Was
don't know
he?
if anyone, yeah, I don't know if anyone caught it, but basically, when his wife said, "Oh, did you? I packed. It's either I packed the thing for you, or did you bring the dye something something." Basically, it's motion sickness medicine, and that's what he was. I think it's also. No, did he have smelling salts? I can't remember if they showed him taking it, but he, that is motion sickness medicine, but they never really talked about it afterwards. And I
To be
think the
fair, I
only
imagine the
thing,
motion sickness medicine, like I imagine he gets motion sick because he's scared, like because he's traumatized, rather than it being just the motion sickness.
maybe, yeah, because I wasn't sure if that was the medicine, the thing he was kind of smelling, or was that just smelling salt? Where he was kind of putting some stuff up to his nose. That might have just been smelling salt because of the dead fish.
I was not paying enough attention.
No, maybe actually. Mhm.
But yeah, it was
Um,
just one of those random throwaway things that never got talked about, and he never threw up once. So it's just like,
Yeah.
wait, if he has medicine, he probably hasn't had it for time. Why is he not throwing up? I guess that they just forgot about that.
I think Rob and Ben probably know my favourite scene because I kept going on about it the last week. It's like when the three of them are in the cabin and they're not actually fighting with each other because we're all fucking hammered.
Show me the way.
Yeah,
yeah.
another really dumb moment where they shouldn't have been doing that because they literally mentioned earlier in the movie that sharks are night feeders, so they should be paying more attention at night.
Yeah, but they were
Like-
drunk, weren't they?
Yeah, if you're drunk.
No, but you wouldn't get drunk in the first place.
You would if they
Yeah.
were those idiots.
Very dumb people.
Yeah, but people aren't smart. So
I'm sure we'd all do the same thing.
No.
I reckon we
No,
Honestly,
no,
wouldn't
I
get on a
wouldn't even
fucking
go
boat.
out on the boat with you. I would say, here's money for the guy who said he was going to do it. Why am I going to go there with
Yeah, well,
him?
okay. It'll be me, Pat, and Rob then. That's all.
when that scene was on, I thought of the three of us in the boat.
Well, when you do it, I want you all to write wills first, saying that if I'm right and you all die, I get your shit.
Just imagine Pat being the last one and being like, "Smile, you." Oh, fuck's sake! I knew I shouldn't have quoted the line.
Oh, man.
Bitch, you son of a smile. Fuck.
Right, are we going to move on to the other one then?
Oh no, but not everyone said their favourite scene.
Great.
Yeah,
Oh,
fucking hell,
oh,
Pat.
sorry,
You
sorry.
said yours, and we're like, yeah,
Sorry.
fuck the rest of you.
I thought everyone else said this. Sorry.
I'd say probably the bit where you first see the shark and he's throwing the thing in and he's not noticing. When he sees it, he's like, the line, we need a bigger boat. It's just that scene's so great because he's just like, what the fuck is this? Like he doesn't really, he's not invested in it at all. And then when he sees it, it's like, holy fuck, we're dead.
Yeah, that's
It kind of
good, that's
changes
good.
the tone, like from like a hunting to like survival, which is kind of good. Yeah, that's my favorite bit.
I don't even know what I'd say was my favourite bit still. I think like it's not like a scene or a moment or anything, but the thing that I enjoy most about it is just like the atmosphere of it all.
Hmm.
It's like I said on the call for Close Encounters of the Third Kind, like Steven Spielberg films just all have a very similar feeling to me. I just really enjoy that. I don't even know what causes it or what the reason for it is, but they just all feel they all feel like you're in the same world kind of thing. I don't know why.
Music,
So
maybe?
like,
I think
It's
so.
It's
because of
because he's
his
unoriginal and
his
does
ro-
the same shit.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm kidding.
no.
Uh,
I think it's because of his even though he might not be the one like writing necessarily the host like the script himself, but I think it's his style of doing things and how he wants it to go. That's just
mm.
probably why you find that.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because like it's not necessary because I with Quentin Tarantino, for example, like it's because the dialogue is always like very sort of stylized. There's generally sort of like lots of blood and stuff, and like the camera shots are always like very similar and that kind of thing. Like with Spike Lee, it's a similar thing. So like it always tends to be stories that are around sort of like roughly the same thing. Not the same thing, but like the same kind of idea of like how races interact with one another and that kind of thing. And again, like he has a very distinct way of like shooting his films. But with Steven Spielberg, I mean, like Jaws, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and Indiana Jones, like they're three very different films, but like they all just like there's nothing that really ties them together other than that they just feel really similar to me, and I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I think it's quite subtle. It's not it's still it's Steven Spielberg. That's okay. It's not like very obvious things. It's just very subtle things in the background about how he does things or wants them to be done or how he wants them to build up or the focus on character or the character development or the score, the music. I think it's a lot of things that tie into it with him.
I suppose, like speaking of score, yeah, one thing that the three films that I just mentioned have in common is that all of the scores were done by John Williams. So-
Yeah, I thought so, but I couldn't
Uh,
remember if they all were.
That's a funny
Yeah.
thing, actually. Apparently, when John Williams showed Steven Spielberg the Jaws theme, like it's so iconic now. But apparently, Steven Spielberg laughed and was like, "Yeah, right. What's the real one?"
I mean, yeah, because it does sound shit. Like it's obviously it's iconic because of the movie, but like if you would just listen to it on its own with no context, you're just kind of like, seems a bit lazy.
Yeah.
yeah.
What was yours, Ben?
I think mine was the one where Quint literally is sitting down with his fishing line, and he gets the nibble, and the little the line starts to taut, and he straps himself in really slowly, and it's really quite the tense build up from that scene where you think he's just getting ready for something big's going to happen, and he straps himself down, puts the rod into the position, and he's just all ready to be prepared that this thing's going to tear the boat in half. So he just wants to be ready as possible, ready for it as possible. So I thought that was just really well executed, especially just the mood and the setting and how it just like how you kind of like are dreading what could happen, what this thing is, because you haven't really seen the shot properly at that stage. So you don't know the scale and size of it at that point.
See, I feel like that's how we feel. I don't think that's how he felt though. Like, I think as far as he was concerned, it was just a normal shark up until like later on. Even in that moment, he's just like tying himself in because he knows what he's doing. Like, if he realized that anywhere near the scale that he was dealing with, he wouldn't have even tried to use that fishing rod.
Yeah, I was just laughing in my head, imagining him like ripping in half. He said rip the boat in half. He's just like, yes, I got. This is like, well, want to go back to shore? Yeah.
No, and the fact that he didn't think to grab that machete way sooner than he should have to cut the rope, and then it didn't fucking matter anyway.
I always have
Yeah.
like a bit of a false memory of the bit where the rope gets taut around his legs, because
Oh god, that was so dumb.
for some reason, every time I see the film, like in the back of my mind, I can see that scene, and Richard Dreyfuss goes like, "Whoa!" like that exact noise, but he never makes it, and I'm always like, "Oh no, I've misremembered."
Maybe it's what you would have done.
Yeah.
You just put it on top of it.
It's really weird. Like every time I watch it, I'm like, "Oh, this is the bit where Richard Dreyfuss goes, whoa," and he never does.
Oh,
Rightfully so.
also, when they had done the ropes to the boat, I guess this is another dumb thing. I was just like, your boat's in whatever condition. Why are you trying to pull the opposite way to where the shark? I thought you was tying your boat to tire the shark out. You're actually doing it to try and bring it back. Your boat can barely move. Whatever.
I
Let's see
mean,
where it
like,
goes.
again, I think they just hadn't really accepted how serious the situation was by that point. Like they were just trying to get an advantage over it, I guess.
Wasn't there
Okay,
something to do with the production? Wasn't there a problem where the boat started sinking at one point and they didn't want it to? I think so. I'm not sure though. Let me Google it.
I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, John, even when they was just like, yeah, we're gonna pull it because we've got this idea. When they realized that, okay, this ain't going nowhere, like our engine can't handle it, let's shut it off. But they left the engine on for time. And I was just like, this thing is definitely gonna sink. It's already sinking.
I mean, yeah, they're a bunch of fucking idiots.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So it's just basically like points that the whole reason if everything went the way it did. They would have went back this short time ago. But yeah, we done some days work. Let's go back. We'll come back another day.
Yeah, I've just found it. So yeah, apparently there was an accident during
Oh,
filming.
Alec.
Apparently there was an accident during filming where the boat started sinking, and apparently the actors were like up to their knees in water, and they sent out like little safety boats to rescue them. And apparently Steven Spielberg was shouting, "Fuck the actors, rescue the sound crew."
Oh, interesting. That's bad, but at the same time, it's nice to know I would have been safe. I was working on his film set.
I imagine that's how they felt as well. Like, this is
I
bad,
mean-
but good for me.
No, fuck them. Like the actors have probably got life insurance. Their families will be fine. The sound crew, though.
Oh man.
Plus, I imagine there's a lot more sound crew than there are actors.
I mean,
Yeah, I
wonder
imagine
how
you're
it
probably
was
right,
for-
actually. You got power again, Alec.
I know, isn't it great?
And
Don't
Ben's
know, like
back for the
I'm going
occasion.
to get visited by 3 ghosts.
Excellent. Right.
Congrats, man.
What I miss?
Everything.
Everything.
Oh,
Pretty much. We're gonna go on to the next one now.
Yeah. we
Yeah, just in
talked about
time,
that.
Alec.
Alec's favourite of the 2 films.
right.
Any
Your
last
favourite.
words before I stop recording and start again?
You talking to me or you talking to everyone else?
Or anyone?